In the settings menu, go to the General tab and then World Clock. Then click on Show World Clock, and then I'll add a time zone for my brother who also helps make videos for this channel. Hey, what's up? I'm Jake from Design Bros, and today we're going to be talking about 8 Google Calendar tips that you probably didn't know yesterday. And as a bonus, I'll throw in a 9th tip just for good measure. Let's get started. Simply hit Control-T to open a new tab, and then type cal.new, and that will open a new event for your calendar. This trick actually works on both Chrome and Safari. And as a bonus, you can also type in Doc.new, sheets.new, and even slides.new to open a Google Doc, Sheets, or Slides, respectively. GCal tip number 2 is to change your default notification settings from 10 minutes before the meeting to 3 minutes before the meeting. To fix this, you can head up to the gear icon in the upper right, or just simply type S to open the settings page. Then click on the calendar that you want to adjust and go to Event Notifications, and then change your notifications from, in this case, 30 minutes, which is way too long, to 3 minutes. I find that 3 minutes works perfect for me because it gives me just enough time to finish up whatever I'm working on and prepare for my next meeting. In my opinion, your calendar invite should, by default, allow the other person to edit that meeting. It drives me crazy when someone sends me a meeting and that time doesn't work for me, and then I have to email them and say, hey, that time doesn't work for me. And they send me back an email and say, hey, what about this time? And I reply, yeah, that's fine. And then they send me the invite again and I have to accept it. It's a lot of wasted time. So instead, I recommend setting up all of your event invites to be modifiable by others. Here's how to fix it. Head on up to the settings menu, and then from the general settings, go to event settings, and then under default guest permissions, make sure that modify event is checked. This will allow anyone who receives the meeting invite to modify that invite as far as the date or the time, or even add some notes into the description for the event. Now, if you're setting up a meeting and it has a lot of attendees and you don't want someone to accidentally change something, you can always just uncheck the Modify Event button, and that will keep anyone from modifying an event unless you give them explicit permission. Google Calendar tip number 4. This tip is to display multiple time zones for easy scheduling with teams around the world. In the settings menu, go to the General tab and then World Clock. Then click on Show World Clock, and then I'll add a time zone for my brother who also helps make videos for this channel. Add time zone. He is in Eastern time. And then I'll add a clock for my podcast co-host. And last, I'll add one for my friend who's a little bit south of here. I think I need to get out a little bit more. All right, before we get to the next Google Calendar tip, I want to give a great big shout out to this week's channel sponsor. I'm just kidding, we don't have any sponsors on this channel, but if you're liking this video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you hate this video, be sure to hit that thumbs down button twice. All right, Google Calendar tip number 5. Add invisible events that only you can see. To do this, create a new event. This will be called Get More Subscribers. We're going to set that for tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I like to get started early. And then what we're going to do is make sure this is set to free, and then visibility is set to private. In all seriousness, this is a great way to set up an event that will remind you to maybe take the dog for a walk, maybe take a little break, or even grab another cup of coffee before your next meeting. This next tip is great for recurring tasks and events that have actionable items attached that you need to complete every single time. For example, I have this Drink More Coffee event that's recurring weekly every Thursday. Now, we could just leave the regular 3-minute notification that will give me the alert 3 minutes ahead of time, but because this is a really important event and I want to make sure that I drink that coffee, I'm going to make sure that I have the email notification set up as well. Now I'll get an email when this event comes up, and even though maybe the time has passed on the calendar itself and I may have missed that notification, when I go through my inbox, I'll see that I got that notification to drink more coffee, and I can get that task complete. If you're like me and you always forget to check your agenda the day before, do what I do. Have Google Calendar send the agenda directly to your email every day. All you have to do is go to Settings, then click on the calendar that you want the agenda for. Head down to Other Notifications, and then where it says Daily Agenda, say Email. Now, Google Calendar will send an agenda directly to your email every day at 5 a.m. I like to rely on search for pretty much everything nowadays, whether it's on my phone, on the computer, or generally most of my apps. If there's a search tool, I'm using it. And Google Calendar is no exception. To use a search in Google Calendar, head up to the magnifying glass and then search away. Or if you want to be a little more advanced, you can click the Advanced tab, and then from there we can filter our search for some keywords, add a participant or an organizer. We could even search by where that event takes place, whether it's an allocation or a room. So to test this out, I'll show you an event that I have coming up here pretty soon. It's called Design Bros Investment Meeting, and it is with Warren Buffett, and we'll hit search. That's weird. I thought we had something on the books. I'll just have to have my people get with his people and we'll get it all figured out. All right, here's a bonus tip. If you have a bunch of calendars and you want them sorted in a specific order or maybe an easier to remember name, you can always click on that calendar and then click on Settings and Sharing, and you could change the name to something more sensible, or if you wanted to make sure it was always at the top, you could always add an A in front of it, and that will ensure that it gets sorted to the top of the list. But what I like to do is a little bit more creative. For example, I have this bills calendar that my wife set up because I forgot to pay the mortgage once. So we're going to go into Settings and Sharing, and then I'm going to open a new tab and go to emojipedia.org. And this one will look up bank. We can copy the bank emoji and then head back over here and paste it in front of bills. There, perfectly fitting. Now I know where all my money is going. Next up, I picked a video just for you. So click on over and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, hey, 3 minutes till my next meeting. I better go grab a coffee.